It's Calgary's podcast on the Canada's Podcast Network.
Today's guest is Neil Gruninger, who is founder and president of Kidoodle TV. Thanks for joining us today, Neil.
Thanks for having me, Mario. Appreciate it.
Well, let's start with a simple question. Tell me what Kidoodle TV is and what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the simplest form, Kidoodle TV is a safe streaming video service for kids under 13. It allows them to watch all their favorite shows in a safe environment. We've really built our name brand within the industry as the leader and one of the fastest growing children's only focused services in the world.
When did you start?
We started in 2012. We launched our first, I'd say, bootstrap version in 2014, and it was a subscription-based service to begin with. And through the years, I could say we've been resurrected. And in 2018, we shifted to an ad-supported model. That kind of, that big shift was back and forth through my business partner, co-founder Mike Lowe, and I, and we just recognized that in the marketplace, kids were using YouTube to consume all their content, and it's free, right? So families in large recognize that they can consume all their content, find all their favorite shows on YouTube. And I think that put the precedence of we're not going to pay for content, whether it's we had a $5 subscription fee, and at the end of the day, every dollar counts, no matter what, how much that is.
Mm-hmm.
So once we introduced our ad-supported model, that's kind of when we saw some real success. And ever since then, we've been gaining a lot of new content. Brenda Bisner, she is our content officer out in New York. We've expanded globally, all within the last year and a half, 2 years, and now are the leader in the space when it comes to the children's services online.
Can you give me a sense of what your reach has grown to?
I can. Well, first off, we're global, right? I just got back from CES, and it was by far the best CES we've ever had down in Las Vegas. And it's just because now, as you've seen, everyone's getting into the streaming space, ultimately, the AVOD supported model has become a lot more adopted within the OEMs. So those original equipment manufacturers, they're looking for new ways to monetize their TVs, and we become that. So we've signed deals for hundreds of millions of TVs that are connected today, and we're seeing an incredible growth. Like I said, I can get into certain numbers, but we are extremely excited for 2020.
Tell me what the future lies for you guys, and where your vision is heading into the future.
Well, focus is key. We have, and I encourage everyone to get a Roku or a Fire TV, an LG, Samsung. We're across all devices, and making sure that user experience is the best that can be is really kind of what we're focused on. To make sure that there's that kid safety side of it. YouTube, what has happened just recently, and this was big news last year, YouTube was fined $170 million from the FTC, and that was based on their illegal, ad targeting practices on YouTube. And so Kidoodle TV has always abided by the COPPA, which is the Children's Online Protective Privacy Act that has been around since 1998. And so what we're excited about is that the players in the game have to now play by the rules. And so you're seeing a lot of adoption coming over to safe streaming services like ourselves. We actually trademarked the safe streaming name and brand. And that's become a real key indicator within the marketplace for not just parents and caregivers and kids, but even advertisers and content owners that want to be a part of Kidoodle TV. So really, it's a growth side of our service and connecting to as many families as possible, And not only that, it's getting the advertisers and the people that want to reach kids in a legal fashion in terms of advertising, in a safe environment where they know their brands are not going to be, beside something on YouTube that is not appropriate, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's really key. That's our growth, and not only that, just sheer volume of content. We've signed some very big brands. It's very exciting, and they'll come out, press releases. We have them coming out on a weekly basis, and so you'll see a lot more news coming in the near future.
What's been the biggest challenge for you as an entrepreneur in getting this business up and running and proceeding, I guess?
Well, convincing people that we have a dream, and the biggest challenge for us out of the gate was the content acquisition timing of our business was still in the traditional means, right? So we were paying big upfronts and costs that were today we would never do, right? So that's been the shift, and that's been actually one of the best parts of YouTube is all these big brands had to go on YouTube to find the eyeballs of children. And from that standpoint, those content costs have come down because they're variable now with it's called a CPM, right? So a cost per 1,000 views. So essentially they're paying on that. And before, it's like broadcast where you're saying, I'm going to buy an episode for this many hours for this many years. And that costs us, an extreme amount of money. We had to raise a lot of money. So that was really the hard part to start off our company. Typically, you'll see a lot of companies, smaller companies, startups, come up with the concept and not having to dish out that much capital to get it off the ground. But we were able to through lots of friends and family that believed in Mike and myself, and then obviously getting in some interesting investors from Dallas, Texas, and they supported us from the beginning, and some other interesting investors. Tom Christ actually was one of our original investors that is all about keeping kids safe and making sure they have the utmost ability to be who they are as a child, and so he believed in the cause as well. So that that in terms of starting that was really the challenge, was raising the money. And moving forward, introducing the product and executing on it. There's always a lot of fun things to get through, but we managed to get to this point. So we're still going. That's all that matters.
So I imagine over the years you've had a number of people obviously give you advice. Is there anything that sticks out in your mind as the best piece of advice you've received?
Yeah. Well, I would say advice for sure. But in terms of influence, my parents, they're entrepreneurs. They started, they decided to kind of quit their jobs and start a bowling center in Lethbridge, Alberta. So I'm from Lethbridge. And I think, growing up in that space, and seeing what the hard work they put into it, and really, really focused on making sure everyone else had what they needed to survive before they got any of the money. So it was always employees first, business second, making sure the bowling shoes were sprayed third, and then I guess we came last in that sense. But just seeing how incredibly caring they were with their employees and made them feel like family. And so that's always been something that's driven me is employees and everyone that works for us. They have so much, we have respect for them, vice versa. And we work very well with them across board. We're very, very lucky. We've built an incredible team. We've actually hired 20 people in the last, I would say 6 months.
Wow.
So onboarding everyone has been quite the challenge, and me delegating and starting to build upon it is always, you have to hand this off. And it's always been like every single piece of it, the baby of yours. Right. And then my grandfather always told me since I was a kid, so I ran into some troubles back when I was really young. And his advice was, be nice to, it's nice to be nice to the nice. Right. Yeah. And so, that was always his saying is like, hey, if they're, call it a bully, right? Then just avoid them and really work with people that seem to respect you, and give them that respect back. And I think that's always kind of been one of my takeaways from him.
Okay, super. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, ask you some more kind of personal type questions.
Sure.
If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what do you think you'd be doing as a job or career?
Oh, well, there was a time back when I was a kid where I could have chose the bowling route and maybe be a professional bowler. That was potential.
Are you good? Are you good at it?
I used to be. My little
Okay.
brother's a million times better. He's
Okay.
just phenomenal. I don't know why he didn't stick with it, but you know what? I'm pretty fortunate right now that Kidoodle has been the success that it has, and we're I just don't see myself really. I'm so passionate about what we're doing. This has been a dream of mine for a long time, and it's always been to get a seat at the table. Producing content has been a dream, and that's what we get to do now, right? Is we have distribution. We're now, call it a cable company, but globally. And if you think like just one contract that we got from CES, it's 100 million TVs that are active right now. And that's I think there's about 12 million homes in Canada at the end of the day, right? It's real scale. So that gives us, a bit of leverage to start producing content, and that's always been my dream. So the next phase is original content production.
Okay. Beyond the business side of things, is there anything that sits atop your bucket list these days, I guess, on a personal level?
Well, I you know what? I think maybe I would like to jump out of a plane. I'm not going to lie, but I'm also afraid of heights. So these are things that I'm battling with. Sometimes you wake up to falling out of a plane. So, traveling the world, getting out there and really experiencing new cultures, learning Italian. I'm Italian. My mom's Italian, so I'd love to learn the language. And just becoming a little bit more involved in the community here in Calgary. I'm really excited to be able to bring some of the success back and work with entrepreneurs, individuals, and driven people.
Okay. If you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what would it be and why?
Ambitious. And I would say it describes the constant battle of just moving forward no matter what. I try to do everything I can to be better, right, on a daily basis. And so, that drive comes from multiple aspects of growing up and learning about yourself. But yeah, I think ambitious would definitely describe me as that.
Okay, then. And as you prepare yourself each day, like I'm wondering, do you have a regular, normal routine you go through?
Yes. The gym is important to me. I've been going to the gym since I was really young, and so waking up in the morning and sorry, I'm getting messaged here through Slack. Slack is really one of these things that will never. Every day I'm bombarded with messages, but going to the gym in the morning, taking that time to really kind of reflect on the day, trying not to like I said, get messages and be distracted in that sense, and from there, I like to take the time. Obviously, I travel so much that it's hard to keep that routine. I'm going to be in Calgary probably for 3 weeks in the next 3 to 4 months. So there's just so much going on outside of Canada, really, that we have to be there. Otherwise things don't get done. And so, routine, going to the gym, family is taking as much time as I can with family. I go down to Lethbridge as often as I can. My little brother moved to Calgary, so I've been trying to get him to come here for over 10 years. He finally has planted his roots here. So trying to spend as much time with friends and family outside of work, because we actually have a lot of friends that work with us too, which has been a great hire through the years of being in Google TV.
Mm.
But yeah, routine, and keeping those goals in mind, and clarity on strategizing on a day-to-day basis, and then obviously envisioning the next 6 months to a year, which, if you think about it, normally people look 5 years ahead,
Yeah.
but because of the landscape we're in, it changes on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So you mentioned travel a lot. Is there any favorite place that you've been to?
As of late, I would say I was in Prague just recently, and it was just incredible. I'm a sucker for architecture, sorry, and I really enjoyed just walking around and looking at what the history could have been, and imagining what that would have been like. And south of France, in Nice. And Ez, if you've ever heard of Ez before, it's actually Walt Disney lived there for, I think, 6 months, and I'm pretty sure this is where he came up with his storyline of Pirates of the Caribbean. I swear, because it's an incredible place to sit down and reflect on the world and where we've come from. And anywhere overseas, I never got to really explore that. So Barcelona, I'm going in another month from now for the Mobile World Congress, and New York especially as well.
Okay, so this is going to be a kind of an oddball question for you, and especially for someone like you and the business that you're in. So if you can imagine, we're going to drop you off in the tropical island in the middle of the ocean where there is no technology at all, except...
You're giving me stress already thinking about this.
So there's one phone booth there. We're going to let you stay there until you give us a call and tell us, hey, come pick me up and take me home. So 2 questions. How long would it take you to make that phone call? And what do you think you'd do while you were there?
Wow, interesting. Well, first off, I probably would sleep for like a good week. Just shut my mind off, because I can't even get into the amount of work that has to happen over the next bit. And it's just been ongoing, which is what I'm really excited about. To be busy is better not to be. And so yeah, I would take some time, I think, to catch up on that. And I would, I'll be honest with you, I've never really, I've gone to the mountains, I've hiked, I love hiking, going to the mountains as much as possible, and just taking that time to really be a part of nature. That call would probably have to go to my mom, because she'd be worried. Just so you know, she texts me all the time, just making sure you're alive. And I think after a week would be a long time. I think after a few days, I would start itching to get in contact, because I am always connected. And even I don't really take vacations. I'll be honest with you. I haven't actually, no, that's a lie. My parents and the whole family took a vacation for the first time in the history of our family 2 years ago, and we went on a cruise, and that was a nightmare for me. I absolutely could never do it again. So I don't like being like a cat, just ship through, come here and do the same thing over. So I would say 3 to 4 days, I'd probably make a call, and I would let them know, come join me, and let's hang out at this island. Park your boats and let's go. Okay. And so yeah, that's probably my answer to that.
Okay, well, super. Well, thanks for joining us today on Calgary's podcast, Neil.
Great, Martin. Thank you so much for having me, and pleasure speaking with you and get to know you better.